90% of everything in the oceans died. 70% of everything on land died. Not over millions of years, not over thousands. In what amounts to 3 seconds of geological time, Earth became a graveyard. This actually happened. 250 million years ago, something turned our planet into a hellscape that makes every disaster movie look like a fairy tale. Temperatures 18 degrees hotter than today. Acid oceans, dead zones where nothing could breathe. Scientists found the evidence locked in ancient stone, and what they discovered should terrify you. The forces that caused it are building again, right now, only faster. Picture Earth before the disaster. No flowers, no birds, no mammals. The planet belongs to animals that would seem alien to us today. Massive sailback predators called dimetrodons stalk through coniferous forests. In the oceans, trilobites scuttle across the seafloor after existing for 250 million years. They've outlasted ice ages, asteroid impacts, and countless predators. They're about to meet something they can't survive. The killer doesn't arrive from space, it erupts from beneath their feet. In what is now Siberia, the Earth tears open. Not just one volcano, but thousands upon thousands of eruptions across an area that would cover half of the United States. The lava alone would have been catastrophic, but that's not what kills nearly all life. These eruptions are different. They're punching through massive deposits of coal and organic-rich sediments, essentially setting fire to billions of tons of buried carbon. The atmosphere fills with carbon dioxide at concentrations that dwarf anything in human experience. We worry about our current 415 parts per million. During the Permian, it reaches several thousand. The planet becomes a greenhouse unlike anything in Earth's history. Global temperatures soar 18 degrees Fahrenheit higher than today. But heat is just the beginning of the nightmare. All that CO2 dissolves into the oceans, turning seawater acidic. Shells dissolve, coral reefs bleach white and crumble. The warmer water holds less oxygen, and as marine animals' metabolisms speed up in the heat, they need more oxygen than ever. They literally suffocate in place. The oceans become vast graveyards. On land, the devastation is equally complete. In formations from this time, scientists find something deeply disturbing. Before the extinction, they find diverse pollen from countless plant species. After, nothing but fungal spores, miles and miles of them. The fungi are feeding on something, a world of dead trees. Every forest on Earth dies almost simultaneously. The evidence is preserved in formations around the world. In Italy, ancient seashells record the ocean's pH plummeting to levels that would dissolve modern sea life. In China, sediments that should contain fossils are simply empty. In Antarctica, deposits show that even the polar regions couldn't escape the heat. The few animals that make it inherit an alien world. For 5 million years, Earth remains locked in this hothouse state. The tropical forests that once helped regulate the planet's temperature are gone, creating a feedback loop that keeps temperatures soaring. It's a glimpse of what happens when Earth's climate crosses a tipping point. Among those that endured is a pig-sized beast called Lystrosaurus. With its competition dead, it spreads across the entire planet, from Russia to Antarctica. Every land animal alive today descends from the few species like Lystrosaurus that somehow found a way through Earth's darkest chapter. But wait, if life could die so completely, so quickly, where did it all come from in the first place? Here's where things get really weird. 300 million years before the Great Dying, Earth's oceans suddenly filled with animals that shouldn't exist. Five-eyed predators, beasts with circular buzzsaw teeth, things that scientists literally couldn't figure out which end was the head for decades. It's like someone dumped an alien zoo into our oceans and hit fast forward on evolution. For 3 billion years, Earth had been a planet of microbes. Then, 540 million years ago, in just 20 million years, complex life appears everywhere. Scientists call it the Cambrian Explosion, and it's the most important burst of evolution in our planet's history. Every basic body plan that exists today, from insects to humans, appears during this biological Big Bang. The fossils from this time are so bizarre they seem like science fiction. Opabinia, a five-eyed predator with a flexible clawed arm attached to its head. Anomalocaris, a shrimp-like monster the size of a person, with mouth parts lined with hooks that could crush prey like a hydraulic press. Hallucigenia, a worm covered in spines that scientists literally couldn't figure out which end was up for decades. But the real mystery isn't what these beasts looked like, it's why they all appeared so suddenly. The answer might be oxygen. For billions of years, Earth's atmosphere contained almost none. Then, just before the Cambrian, oxygen levels surge. Suddenly, animals can grow larger, move faster, hunt more effectively. But oxygen alone doesn't explain everything. The real trigger might have been an arms race. Once the first predator evolves, everything changes. Suddenly, there's pressure to develop shells for protection, eyes to see danger coming, legs to run away. In the evolutionary blink of an eye, peaceful seas full of soft, blind organisms transform into a battlefield of shells, spines, and jaws. The evidence comes from trace fossils, the tracks and burrows left by ancient animals. Before the Cambrian, the tracks meander aimlessly, crossing over each other randomly. The things making them can't sense each other. They have no predators to flee from. But at the dawn of the Cambrian, the tracks change. They become purposeful, parallel, organized. Suddenly, a meandering feeding trail cuts into a straight line. Something is running, something else is chasing. The most successful animals from this explosion are the trilobites. With their compound eyes and armored bodies, they dominate the oceans for the next 270 million years. They adapt to every ocean environment, from tropical shallows to polar deeps. They seem indestructible. They're not. Between these two extremes, between explosion and extinction, something absolutely insane happened. The planet basically turned the size settings to maximum. Imagine walking through a forest and looking up to see a dragonfly the size of a hawk. Not a bird that looks like a dragonfly. An actual dragonfly with a 2-foot wingspan casting a shadow over your head. Now imagine the thing it's hunting. Millipedes 8 feet long, longer than your car. This was Earth 300 million years ago, and it gets weirder. Sea scorpions grew larger than great white sharks, their claws capable of crushing anything that swam too close. The high oxygen allows these beasts to grow so large because of how they breathe. Insects don't have lungs. They breathe through tubes called spiracles that run through their bodies. Higher oxygen means these simple breathing systems can support much larger bodies. It's a world where your nightmares are real and they're hungry. But even these giants are heading toward doom. As the continents drift together to form the supercontinent Pangaea, the climate begins to change. Vast deserts replace the swamps where giants thrived. Oxygen levels drop. The age of giants ends not with a bang, but with a wheeze, as these monsters literally can't breathe enough to sustain their massive bodies. You know what's crazier than giant millipedes and mass extinctions? The things that outlasted them. Hidden in 514 million-year-old sediments, scientists found something that makes no sense. A slug covered in tiny spines. Doesn't sound special, right? Wrong. This little weirdo endured something that killed almost everything else on the planet. Then it did it again, and again, and again. Its descendants are still here today, having outlasted 4 apocalypses that should have erased them from existence. The history of life isn't just about the winners, it's about the ones that made it through. And making it through, it turns out, has less to do with being the strongest or the smartest, and more to do with being in the right place at the right time with the right adaptations. Take the horseshoe crab. It's not actually a crab at all, but a relative of spiders that's remained virtually unchanged for 445 million years. It has 10 eyes but can barely see. It's been stabbed, poisoned, frozen, and boiled by various extinction events. Yet, it endures. Every spring, they still crawl onto beaches to mate, performing a ritual that predates the first dinosaur by 200 million years. Okay, remember how I said the Great Dying was triggered by carbon released over 50,000 years? Scientists just discovered something that should keep you awake at night. We're releasing carbon 10 to 20 times faster than that. Let that sink in. The event that killed 90% of life was slower than what we're doing right now. The parallels are uncomfortable. Rising temperatures, acidifying oceans, dead zones spreading where nothing can breathe, feedback loops that could lock in changes for millions of years. We're not just studying ancient history, we're watching the opening scenes of a sequel. But here's what the geological record also tells us. Life finds a way. Not all life, not most life, but some life. After every apocalypse, the ones that make it radiate into empty niches, evolving into forms their ancestors could never have imagined. The Great Dying cleared the stage for dinosaurs. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs made room for mammals, and eventually for us. But here's the thing about extinction events. They're not endings. They're intermissions, really, really long intermissions where 90% of the cast gets replaced. But the show goes on, standing in front of geological layers that span the Permian-Triassic boundary is like looking at a murder scene frozen in stone. Below the boundary, fossils everywhere, shells, tracks, burrows. Above the boundary, nothing, just empty stone that goes on for meters. It's the silence that follows a scream. But if you keep climbing up through those layers, through millions of years of Earth's history, something remarkable happens. Life returns. Different life, strange life, but life nonetheless. First, just simple burrows, then shells, then the bones of new animals experimenting with new ways to exist. 540 million years ago, in the Cambrian seas, the first eyes opened and saw light. Those eyes belonged to trilobites, and they saw a world we can barely imagine. No land plants, no flying animals, no sounds but the wash of waves on barren shores. They ruled that world for 270 million years, longer than mammals have existed, longer than flowers have bloomed. Then they died. All of them. Despite their success, despite their adaptations, despite their quarter-billion-year dynasty, they died because the world changed faster than they could. Their fossils lie in shales and limestones around the world in such abundance that you can buy one for the price of a coffee. The lords of the ancient oceans reduced to paperweights. They are testament to a simple truth. Nothing lasts forever. Not mountains, not oceans, not species, not us. But they're also testament to another truth. Everything leaves a mark. The oxygen we breathe exists because ancient cyanobacteria poisoned their world with it. The limestone that builds our cities is the compressed remains of trillions of ancient sea organisms. The coal and oil that power our civilization are the transformed bodies of prehistoric forests and plankton. Understanding deep time doesn't make us insignificant. It makes us witnesses to the most remarkable story ever told. We are the only species in Earth's history capable of understanding our own origins, the only ones who can see the next catastrophe coming, the only ones who might be able to stop it. The geological record doesn't care about our future. It will document whatever happens with the same indifference it showed the trilobites and the dinosaurs. But we're not just passive observers. We learn to think, to plan, to choose. We can read the warning written in stone from a quarter-billion years ago. The question is, will we listen? The answer won't be found in the past. It will be written in the future, and we're the ones holding the pen.